Hello, everyone, and welcome to the July AI workshop. And we're really happy to have you all here. Of course, as always, we have our expert, recruiter, AI expert, Sam Velu here today. And we have an amazing topic, one of also another personal favorite of mine, which is networking. That is definitely a good thing to, really learn and have down is networking. I mean, I can use me as a great example, and I think even Sam can use himself as an example of, that really helped us along in our careers is being able to network with people and just kind of, and also not getting discouraged. I mean, I was just over at like the sleep conference and networking with people. And you end up getting business cards. And sometimes somebody will say they'll reach out, but then they don't. But don't get discouraged about that. That's just part of networking. But I myself will say that I have built amazing relationships, from networking. So before we start, though, I would just like to thank, our sponsors that are making, programs like the Jobs Project happen. And that is, Avadel, which is now part of Alchemies, and then Harmony Biosciences and Takeda. They're the ones sponsoring these programs, making this happen, being able to have somebody like here, Sam, devote his time in helping individuals in our community. Yeah, I think that, one thing I'm going to say, and I've said this before, and it's going to, having Sam around is coming from the HR world and even the recruiting world. You tend to get ghosted a lot. Even when I've networked with like recruiters when I was searching for a job, I'd reach out to them and sometimes it'd be crickets or they'd talk to me, I'd respond, and then crickets, right? And I'm going to say right now, Sam is very unique because he is willing to work with anyone. He's currently working somebody right now in our group in the narcolepsy community, meeting with them one on one. I'm even seeing like the email exchanging back and forth where, improving their resume, and this somebody actually has a technical skill that he's helping them, build their resume, their cover letter, all that great stuff. So it's just great to have somebody like Sam. So I really encourage people to utilize these services. They are free to you. Again, these amazing sponsors here are making that happen so that you don't have that stress of going, oh my God, I gotta pay for this service, just to be able to find a job. No, this here is being provided for you for free. And then, of course, on top of the Jobs Project, we do have the Udemy program. So we do offer, again, free licenses to Udemy. And Udemy just purchased or acquired Coursera. So you're talking over 25,000, courses out there that, you can take for free. Again, we can give you a 90-day license, test it out. If you like it, we can keep you going. As long as you're completing those courses, it's great just to learn a new skill or upskill. If you're looking to get promoted, we even got somebody that is looking to get their certification in project management. So they're actually doing that. So it's really great to be able to prep for the project management certificate. So with all that said, all right, Sam, I am going to let you have this. It is all you.
Thank you very much, Alejandro. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Great to be back again here. Like I said, if there is anything that we need to talk about, please reach out to me anytime. This is a great topic. We all have gone through networking. One thing I would tell everybody is start your networking when you are in the job. It becomes a lot more easier when you're in the job to do. So I always tell people in a month, do at least one networking event, whether it's online, whether it's in person, or any of those other ones, because that will give you a leverage of when you're looking for a job that somebody will come through for you. That is one advice I have for everybody to start networking when they're in the job or any place you meet more than two people, that's a networking event for you. Right? When you go to a networking event, a lot of the times I feel people, the simplest trick I have used is when you walk into a room, you see somebody standing alone in corner, you know that they're going through the same troubles as you are. They don't know how to interact. They don't probably are a little bit scared about people, not people. You guys say hello, how are you? Introduce yourself, give your name. You don't need to tell them that you're looking for a job, but tell them what you do and have a great conversation in what you can do to help them. And eventually that networking is the one that will be long lasting for you to do. Networking in 2026 is going to be the way you're going to get a job. Unfortunately, getting the jobs through job boards are going to be less because you need to tap into your past networks, into your current network, and do whatever you need to do to get a job. And if I say this number, you might be surprised. Job boards get you only 12% of the jobs. Usually it is networking that gets you the job. So that's why I say when you're in the job or when you're meeting more than two people, that is a networking event for you and leverage that. That is the most important thing that you can build as you're building your career, as you're transitioning into your career. That might be the way to get to it because you never know who will come through. It's funny that networking usually, I'll tell you a funny story. Last week, somebody reached out to me and said, I do not know this person. I spoke to this person 20 years ago, and I met her after 20 years, and she's in the job market, and she just talked about something that resonated 20 years ago that they had done. And that person introduced that person to another person, and she's interviewing this week with somebody else as a hiring manager. So you never know when your networking connections will come through for you. That is the most important thing that you can do. And attending online events and how to attend it, we'll go through some tricks and trade of what you need to do, how you need to do it, and a lot of people are afraid to do the networking event, right? It's very simple. Be yourself, say hello, introduce your name, and give the one-liner of what you do, what we call the elevator pitch. Be ready with that. Don't overwhelm with your other details. If you're a great listener when you're networking, that always helps. And asking that right question is what will get you into that job mode. Hey, Jane, good to see
Hey,
you.
good to see you. I wanted to second what you were saying, being in Tampa Bay at one point I was recognized as Tampa Bay's networking goddess. The big thing I always tell people when you go out to network is just about having conversations. There's
Yes.
nothing difficult about it. And the biggest part about networking is the follow-up afterwards. But one thing my clients always said to me was I was pleasantly persistent. And I made sure I kept reaching out. I put them on, 90-day follow-ups or other things. But what I can say for job wise, no job that I have ever landed came through a job board.
Yes.
And I've got 17,000 followers on LinkedIn. And every job that I was put into, I usually found through someone networking on LinkedIn. Because when I was looking for jobs, I literally would put out anywhere between 50 to 100 resumes per week. And the thing is I got zero callbacks. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous because, not to toot my own horn, but I'm a really good salesperson. So for me not to be able to find a job, it was kind of astonishing to me because I'm like, when I was in a position, I would get hundreds of in-mails trying to hire me. But then right when I was no longer in a position, trying to find a new position was difficult.
Yes.
And like you were saying, when you go to a networking event, seek out the other people that aren't talking. I'm very good at basically walking up to a group of people and start making conversation. But I will say sometimes when I'm out of my comfort zone and I don't know the topic as well or other things, my big thing is to go up and just listen to the other people talking. I don't even interrupt them. I just walk up to the group, just listen to the conversation, laugh when everybody's laughing, and, try and understand what's happening there. But yeah, I will say 100%, Sam, you were great at networking when we were at AASM. And those are some difficult networking situations. When you're networking with doctors, they aren't the best conversationalists most of the
No.
time. You'll be very surprised, and you're just like, okay, I don't know how to react to this. So just nod and smile and, let them say their piece. And the thing is the little bits you can pick up on when someone tells you like the age of their child or, a fun event that they like to do. Ask them about stuff that doesn't deal with work. Don't say I'm here looking for a job.
Yeah,
Because nobody's going to be able to say, okay, yes, I know someone that's hiring. But if you say, this is an area I've been in for so many years and this is how I like to do it, then they'll pick up on certain things. And then you can say at the end is maybe, currently I'm looking for my next opportunity. You always want to position at that for your next opportunity because you want to grow.
yeah,
And when you don't mention it like that, it sounds like, okay, you lost your job, you're now looking for a job. And, a lot of people that if they're not like, because I was in IT staffing for a long time, if they're not from that background, they're not going to know what to say or do to help you.
correct. And the other part of it, when you ask that way, Jane, a lot of people become defensive. They put the walls against you, right? You just want to build a rapport. They like you, you like them. They will find a way to help you if you just tell them, right? You don't need to be specific about. You can say, if you go into a job networking event, either you will find people who are employed, which will be maybe
Mhm.
5 to 10%. 60 to 80% will be people who are looking for jobs, and then the rest of the percentage will be the coaches, recruiters, HR people who are there
Mhm.
to help or to find people there, right? So those would be the denomination. You don't need to tell them that which category you belong to, but if you have a conversation with one person, even have a coffee with them after the networking event,
Yeah.
just going out with them or grabbing a coffee if it's a live event, if it's later this one, or looking at the so one of the things that AI cannot do is networking. This is absolutely an advantage for people, and this is something that you all should develop in doing what you need to do. And it may not be results overnight, but if you start putting that effort in and networking wherever you go, when you go to a grocery store, that's a place to network. You can have a conversation. That's your practice ground. What did Alan Iverson say about practice, practice, practice? So that's the way that you can break the ice. That's the way you can do the thing. The lane is wide open. Like you said, I never got a single job through job board. Every job that I landed is through somebody referring me to somebody, and that's the only way I've gotten all the jobs, even being a recruiter. Yes, do I use job boards? But of the fills that I've done, maybe 20 or 25% of them came from the job boards, but the rest of them came through somebody else referring to somebody else,
And
right?
that's the best way to find talent too. And so for people that are looking for jobs, you want to find people that are already employed because those are the employable people. Usually people that don't have a job currently were either let go or something else happened. And I'm not talking about layoffs. I'm just saying like, me coming from the sales area, you want to hire salespeople that are currently in jobs because that means
Correct.
that they're hitting their quota and they're doing well. But the thing is you can have some very good people that were in sales and then there was some type of restructuring or what have you. But the biggest piece I feel like with networking is talking to people and say, who is your ideal candidate? Because getting them to talk about who they're looking for, one, can help reinforce whether you're a good candidate or not.
Correct.
But two, you might know someone to refer them to. And this comes from my networking days of being in real estate and things. That's why real estate people have their pictures everywhere. So in your email signature, put your photograph. It's not because you're trying to, be, this picture or anything, but what it does is it helps people remind people you're a person. And that's why realtors do that. But also because when I was working in real estate, the big thing is if I didn't know someone that could help you, I knew someone that could find someone to help you.
Correct.
And that's the biggest part of networking is being able to say, okay, I'm not the right person for you, but talk to this person. They should be able to point you in some direction.
Yeah, and putting your picture and they can connect with you, they can see the picture, they can remember you, they can do all those other things that usually takes about 10 to 12 touches for somebody to
Exactly.
remember you, right? So by having that picture, it accelerates that connection immediately. And so, oh yeah, I met him at this. The other thing, if people are comfortable, if they are the disc personality of I, then they can do this. If you're a little bit louder and a little bit different than the people will remember you, right? So
Yeah.
if you make jokes or if you are a little, even people remember people who ask good questions in a networking event,
Yes.
right? Those are small tricks that people use to stand out and see what it is among the 20 or 30 other people, job seekers. Now, yeah, that was an interesting question, or that was
Yeah.
an interesting story that people will remember.
And
Uh,
that's really important is because when you get that piece going, so like for some of my clients, or even for myself, the big thing is knowing your unique selling proposition.
correct.
What makes you special to be able to help them? And now that might take some self-discovery and time for you to figure out, but that's okay. Knowing what your core strengths are. A great example of like in sales, I remember I reached out to Joe Manna, who at the time was the CIO over at Ticketmaster. And so the big thing I saw on his LinkedIn profile is he had gone from being the COO to being the
Yeah.
CIO. And you don't see that transition in, companies very often because usually the COO is not technical. And so seeing that, I reached out to him and I said, Joe, I'm very impressed by your background because I don't normally see that. And within the matter of a couple hours, he messaged me back and he said, thank you. Most people don't notice that about me. And, I was able to set up an in-person meeting with him and to go over, what my company does. But the thing is find out where they went to college at. If they're a big Buckeyes fan, or, I'm from North Carolina, so I don't know anything about college football. But, having these pieces to say, hey, I, saw your team did this or other things, finding those
Nuances.
nuances
Yeah.
with their personality or things that they like. People
Dog,
like to
cat.
talk about themselves.
Yes. Dog, cats, things that kids, the pictures, anything that can have become a conversation starter is a good point of reference for you to start with, right? And one of the things that AI networking cannot be done by AI, but AI can help you prepare for that meeting or that conversation, and you can put your LinkedIn and say, "Hey, what is the unique thing that I can pick about Jane?" And look at the profiles. And if I want to have a conversation, how can I weave this into the conversation? Something interesting about her, right? People don't look at those things, and the colleges that they've gone to, any commonality that you have, guitar, faith, whatever it is that can have that conversation starter. And I can tell you 39% of the hiring managers tune out messages that read as fully AI generated. That is something that I have told people, please do not copy and paste what you get from the AI. Humanize it, make it in your own voice and tone. That helps you to do that because there are so many pattern recognitions that people can tell this was AI written, that you want to make sure that. And we will go through some cheat codes that will help you to manage your energy and not read the whole document and summarize it in a shorter form when you're doing the AI
And
writes it.
please, 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 one thing I will say as a hiring manager myself, less is more. Put a
Yes,
few sentences because the biggest thing of an email, what you're trying to do is get to the next step. The next step is to talk. You want to do everything in your power to get a conversation with them going in person or, via Zoom or what have you. And so, like I always said, keep it under 3 sentences a lot of the time. If you have to elaborate more than that, that should be done on a call or something else. And that's one of the problems with AI is that they write these huge emails, which might sound good to you in your brain. But if you think of a hiring manager that's getting multiple emails, if you don't have someone just saying, hey, how does your calendar look next week for us to chat? I feel like my background fits what you're looking for, and here's why. And just give a sentence about it and just leave it at that. And then that way, one, you're being respectful of their time.
Absolutely.
because you get like what now it's less than 10 seconds. I don't remember what the seconds is for someone to see an email or what have you, but like you're respecting their time and you're respecting your time. You trying to write a 4-page email to try and justify why you should have a job there isn't going to help you. And it's also going to frustrate you.
Yeah. AI can help you write that draft in 10 seconds, but your job is to add that one specific true detail before you hit send. And that comes from the things that are unique about you, right? That why you're a great fit for that particular job. Right. So that's that. Your free toolkits is Claude. You can use the free Sonnet 5. I know everybody is talking about Fable, but you can do it with Sonnet. You have 5 projects within that. You can create artifacts, web search, file uploads, best for voice plus building visuals. I like Claude to do that. Chat GPT, you can do free. GPT 5.5, you can do up to 10 messages, 5 hours, shows ads, fast drafts and brainstorming that you can do. You can use Gemini. 3.5 is good. The new version will be coming out. You can create free gems within. Last time when we did this session, we did show people how to do some of those things within so that it can help your efficiency and those type of things. One of the things, Alejandro and Jane, I'm going to do is create a gem or a project in Claude, and you can distribute it to the uh, people and tell them they can use that so they don't have to do all the prompting and other things.
I
They
love that. So it's similar to like, let's say, for example, I can always
GPT.
make it public is the you know, Claude GPTs I've created, one of them
Okay.
being Prospect Pro. So Prospects Pro is one that I've created over years of basically going in, pulling the information on the company, pulling the information on, the C-level executives and pulling like the different pieces. So what you're saying is doing it in Gemini. And the great thing is for our community, you don't have to go in and recreate the wheel. We've
No.
already put a lot of time and, information into these, but being able to utilize that. But, I'm pretty sure, Sam, you're going to go through some of the specifics of what to ask and what have you. But at the same time, keep in mind, go in and check out some of the gyms that are available. I'm sure it's similar to the GPTs. So I always go into Chat GPT and to the GPTs to see what has been built already.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to do it all yourself. Now, if you do have a paid version, which I would suggest for 20 bucks a month, have a paid version somewhere, especially while you're not employed. That'll be well worth 20 bucks in order to be able to customize something to you. But, without it, there's still other free tools. So if you use someone else's GPT, for example, you don't have to recreate that.
Yeah.
But the thing is you want to make sure that it's going to get you where you want to go. So that's the only thing with paid versus not having paid.
Yeah, this one is free. And a lot of the ones have free ones, gems in Google Gemini. You can go look at it. It's a recipe genie, it's a marketing maven, it's a climation explainer, learning with YouTube, and you can create your own and you can do it for free. There's career guides. These are ones that I created for myself. They are different ones. If you hit more, it will show you coding partner, learning coach, productivity planner, writing editor. You can use those type of things in there. And Jane was mentioning Chat GPT. I'll show you in GPT, there are some GPTs which are already pre-built, and you can use some of those that are already built in there. And that's and
They change it. You have to hit more now and go
yeah,
into,
yeah.
yeah, there's my Prospect Pro. You got it on yours.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just was going to show that. Here's the Prospect Road that Jane created long time ago. And these are the GPTs. You can go. Right now, they have health, finances, and other things that are available for you to go play around with, right? So that's basically what. Here are some of the things that you can do to accelerate using and summarizing. If you use these cheat codes last time, I'm not sure, Alejandro, if you distributed it, I gave the whole cheat code for each LLM. Here's the one that you can do. /ghost mode. if you rewrite this so it sounds like a real person, not like AI, it kills the awkwardness, right? You don't have to go re-verify and see if it's a human written one. You still have to go through, but you can go through quickly. This is a great cheat code / blind spots. Tell me what's missing or weak here that you might not have thought about, or you might not have, you probably are caught up and you might not be, your sights are blinded, you don't know what it is. So you can say / blind spot and it will bring the blind spot that you didn't think about, right? / deep dive, research this person or company in depth before I reach out. You can do that if with your hiring manager, with somebody you are networking with. And this is the other one that I like is the L99, answers like an expert, no fluff, saves you energy. So this is something that if you don't have a lot of energy and you want to get something quicker, you don't want to read through the whole thing, you can use the L99 at the end of the prompt and it will get an answer like an expert and you don't have to go through the whole thing. So you can conserve your energy and do what it is. OODA, this is an army term that people use. It is observe, orient, decide, and act. And it goes through the cycle again when you use that cheat code. So you are very precise like an army officer in whatever actions you need to do. It is it observes it, it orients it accordingly, and it will decide what you need to do, and it will tell you what you need to do to act on it. And then you can do that every 7 days when you're doing in the job search. You can put all the jobs that you applied for, all the responses you didn't get, and it will tell you, hey, make changes here, make changes in the LinkedIn, those type of things. Artifacts, which is free in Claude, builds a visual I can use. If a lot of people are visual, I'll show you an example. This is a visual, right? I can show you. Learning artifacts. I'm sure I've used something. I learned the game. I was going on a vacation with somebody, and I knew that they all play poker. I know how to play poker, but this helped me to be playing poker and learn poker, and it did it in Claude, and this is the artifact that created. So if you want to learn, it teaches you what you need to learn. You can do the count practice, so it will teach you how to count. It did the quiz, and it gave me a cheat sheet that I could memorize and go on the trip before I went on the cruise. I learned this, and I went, and people, oh, you're a great player. Right? But I did not know the whole nuances of it. But I just used Claude to learn how to play this game, and so look at the visualization. I don't think it would have taken me a lot more time and energy to go through YouTube and all the channels. Here it put all of it together, and it's live. It's a session that you can play around with, right? So that's what the artifacts can do. You can keep this card. I will send you a bunch of the other ones that you can use. The next one, your brand is in one sentence. This is what, when you're talking to somebody, you can say, L99, act as a personal branding coach. Ask me 5 short questions, one at a time, about my strengths, values, and the work I'm proud of. Then write one clear sentence that captures who I am professionally and value I bring. Keep it human and specific, no buzzwords. So you can use this prompt and get what your strengths and weaknesses are in your own words. And then at the end, it will summarize it like an expert and tell you this is what you should be telling in the networking or in the pitches that you're pitching to anybody that you meet. Right. So this is basically something that you can use immediately. LinkedIn headline and about. If you're using LinkedIn, here is my current role, top 3 skills that I'm good at, and what I want next. And if you're pivoting into some other role, you can put that role in. Write 3 LinkedIn headline options under 200 characters in a 3-sentence about section. Then use the ghosted. So you don't have to think whether it was AI written. It will be written in a human language, right? It is not going, you don't have to go correct it. You don't have to do any of those things. LinkedIn's own AI writer needs 20 plus words to start with. So if you're not sure about whether you want to use the LinkedIn own writer to write it, but you have to give it 20 words for it to create something for you. If you don't have that, it will not create for you.
One
Like
thing
I
I
just
also mentioned when, especially with LinkedIn and stuff, um, there's a big thing that's happening right now in the Google Analytics space. And basically what's happening is that now all the search engines and different things, they're now looking to see where AI content is. And then
yeah,
anyone utilizing that content is going to get marked down. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. If you're putting out blog posts or other things, make sure you're taking out the key tails, taking out the M dashes, taking out the Oxford comma unless it's more than three items. Keep in mind, ChatGPT uses NLP, neural, geez,
neurolinguistic.
yes, neurolinguistic programming. And that's specifically for it to be able to read it out loud because
Correct.
you have to have the comma there before the and or I'll smush it all together.
Correct.
But for people in the rest of the world, when I graduated college back in 2006, I was a marketing major in AMA. They're the people that tell you, especially around grammar wise, what you should have. That Oxford comma was taken away. You don't need that Oxford comma. And the other pieces too is Chat GPT or other ones, they like to write really long sentences, like
Yeah,
run-on sentences, where when you were a kid in school, you were gotten X's all over it. So being able to say, make it sound like me, but also, do not use run-on sentences. Do not try to use semicolons all the time and put all this information together. And so that's just one thing I just want to let everybody know. If you're using heavy in your blog post or in your LinkedIn profiles, the search engines are now basically going to be marking down people that are only using AI to create something, and then their website is not going to be up in the SEO
absolutely.
rankings. So that's
So
just an FYI.
yeah, and if you use the ghost mode, that takes care of it. If you use the Slack
Okay.
ghost mode, a lot of it is taken care of it, so it will write human and then, but you still have to eyeball it, and still human in the loop should be in there before you hit the send button. So don't take what it is given, and even if you use the right one, somewhere sometimes some things can get into it and it didn't understand and it will start doing something. Blind spots, like I told you, you can, if you're going to a networking event, you can put the event name, you can put who's going to be there if you know who's going to be there. Sometimes they give you the names of people who are there. You can put that, and you can and put your LinkedIn profile and what is missing, what is vague, what is weak, what should a recruiter hiring managers looking skim past me, give me a prioritized fix list, and it will give you all the fix lists that you never thought about. And I can tell you this one cheat code has helped a lot of people to make sure that they are able to look at the blind spot that they are not, because you're in the job and you are entrenched in it, you probably miss a lot of the things that the outside world, you might take it as, oh, it's a given. They should know that, but a lot of people outside may not know it, right? And the deep dive is before you talk, reach out to somebody. You can put their name and company and find their recent post talks, projects, and Perplexity is the best one because it uses the live data. So I use Perplexity when I do this part of it, right? And Gemini Deep's research is something that is messages that don't feel awkward. The ghost outreach system, feed in your deep dive detail, write a LinkedIn connection note under 300 characters to so and so reference this specific detail, paste warm, no pitch, just a genuine reason to connect. Then use the ghost at the end of the prompt. So it sounds like me, not AI. So if you do this, you can do it for the follow-up messages. If you're doing it for the connection messages to connect with people on LinkedIn, this is something that you can use it, and I will make sure I'll put a cheat sheet and send it to Alejandro. He can distribute it to people, right? So when they get an interview, they can. Genuine connection, low energy, 3 reusable moves, draft once, reuse forever, reconnect, saw specific thing and thought of you, right? That's all you need to write to somebody that who you have not spoken or met in the long time. You don't need to write. What Jane said, less is more, right? You don't need to write, hey, I was right. The best connection that I've gotten, a lot of responses, hey, I just was thinking about you. I just wanted to say hello. And then people respond because there is no expectation set on that. There is nothing asked on that. There is nothing. It is just, hey, something popped up. I was thinking about you. I just wanted to say hello. And that's no pressure. This one. Congratulate, real note on their role or post, not just congrats. Like Jane just gave that example of Ticketmaster. It is something that the nuance that she picked up was that usually people from a COO doesn't go to a CIO role. Usually they are non-technical, and the one that she picked up, it's not a lot of people won't pick up, and that's the connection that he had. I'm sure you still have connection with him till date, right, Jane? With that gentleman?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, and so the crazy part, and some people may not know, Live Nation actually, who was more cash flush, bought Ticketmaster.
Yes.
And so he took over as the role over both of those massive companies. And so I was somebody that he reached out to, and then when he moved on, I think he went to Equifax or something else. But, it's having that real connection with people. Think about how, with networking and stuff, how you like to feel. How does it feel when someone comes up and introduces themselves to you at a networking event? For me, when I'm at these events, like we were with Sam at, Sleep 2026, being able to go in and just start a conversation with people and just say, hey, this is my first time here. What would you tell me, or what would you tell yourself the first time you came to this event? And the other piece is people love to teach other people things.
Yes.
So when I was starting off in sales and getting into, I started off in telecom and then IT staffing. And the big thing I would do is sit down with CIOs and ask them about their IT roadmap, and then ask them to explain to me pieces I didn't understand. And they got so much fulfillment out of that. That's one thing I always tell people is when you're networking and you're learning from other people, this makes other people feel good. They
Yes.
want to be your friend. They want to help you understand. And most people at networking events, they find a buddy. And what I would do is there was a handful of people back when I used to do a ton of networking events in Tampa as well as South Florida. I would hit them up. Hey, are you going to this event? Do you know about it? And that's the big thing. Like at trade shows, I always tell people, know the networking events that are happening there to say, hey, are you going to this? Because the thing is a lot of people don't know or in the know of what's happening there. And they're so appreciative because most people at trade shows travel by themselves. They may or may not know what's going on. And if they have a networking buddy they can hook up with before going out, that just allows them to feel even more comfortable. But
Absolutely. So the last piece of thing is ask advice. And Jane, my biggest line in recruiting that I've used is I'm not as smart as you. You guys are technical. I don't want to oversell you or undersell you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and just shut up? And those IT folks want to show how much knowledge they have, what it is, and then you fit them into whether they fit into your role or not. I didn't even have to ask any more questions, right? Because now they're educating you, they're asking you, they're telling you what it is. And
and
since I
if
used
you
to,
even know the topic inside and out,
yes,
I always have people explain it to me and always using terms like, oh, can you help me understand this a little bit more of how you use it? Or what is your definition of that? Because there's so many words out there that people use in different ways. And so like if someone, mentions something, okay, I think I understand you, but can you explain this a little bit more? Because I'm not understanding how you're using this term. And the thing is you don't make people sound stupid, first of all, and you want to help them educate you so you get it as well. And so the big thing is by asking good questions, you get better responses from people. And then they're also just more, when people find people they like, they're going to help you find a job. They're going
100%.
to be able to point you in directions because it's no longer like, okay, I'm here at this networking event to talk about my company and do these different things. The thing is you never know who you already know, and you never know who someone you're talking to already knows.
Yeah, so that is what it is. And this is a great one for people to build their artifacts. It tells build a clean one page about me networking card, your name, your headline, three strengths, what I'm looking for, and how to reach me. Calm, professional, easy to read. Here's my info, right? You can do that and go from there, right? So it is
I
not.
love this. Sam, you're so good at being able to help people simplify these things because think about this. If you've got something that clean, that could be your cover letter.
Yes,
That could be your cover letter for pretty much any company you're talking to. And the thing with cover letters is you want to customize them a little bit to what their company does. But the biggest part of the cover letter is to say stuff that's not in your resume
yes,
and explain to people, this is who I am. Like, for example, my better half, Alan, he's recently gone viral on social media. He tells his story to everybody. He tells them, I'm a recovered alcoholic. I play great guitar. And I've, almost been signed by Universal Music Group. But that's who he is. But he's also a sound engineer. He also does worship production with churches. But the thing is how do you get all that out in a resume? You don't, because there's certain pieces that, if you say you were, Phi Theta Kappa at your college, but you were in college 20 years ago, it doesn't have the same effect. But what you can use that for is saying, through my background, I've always excelled, whether it be in college as Phi Theta Kappa, to now where I'm, let's just say, top salesperson or
yeah.
whatever it might be. So this is amazing.
Yeah, so this one can be used as an introduction card also, right? What is fresh in the last 60 days? Gemini made more gems. Deep research is free, including a ready-made career guide gem that is already there in the part that you can cover. ChatGPT free now runs GPT 5.5, which is fast and capable. Note that the free tiers show ads. Perplexity Comet is a browser that if you can download is much better than Google and other aspects of it because it does the AI research for you, right? AI research browser for company and person prep. That's the best one that I have seen so far, and I've utilized a lot more. But what Comet can do is really amazing. Claude, you can run free Sonnet 5 with artifacts and projects like the projects that I just showed you, and the artifacts that I showed you is amazing that it can convert your day-to-day activity into a visual format and you can follow it on there. LinkedIn, always, if you're using LinkedIn, that's a collaborative articles, lets you add expert. And I would recommend everybody, if you're networking, to do at least 3 or 4 times something on LinkedIn to make sure that they know that you're an expert. And with the new LinkedIn algorithm, you need to have at least 12 words before they even say, before it was just like, and they would promote you, but now they don't promote you.
And one thing on LinkedIn I will say to also do is do your posts, but also do your own articles.
Yeah,
So on LinkedIn, there's a place that you can actually put in your own article. And whether you're using AI or whatever to create that article, make sure you humanize it yourself before you put that in. But those articles show up in a different manner. So it's
yes.
different than putting a, website link to a post, a blog post. Put this in there that way, and it'll pop up in other areas than just your feed. And so that's just one piece I would definitely say to look at for
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
absolutely. And your weekly networking loop is something that I would tell all the job seekers to do, a repeatable rhythm that you can do once a week. Observe who posted, who started a new role, who to reconnect with, and orient yourself by using the deep dive, your top few that you need to do. Decide which of the 3 people that you're going to reach out this week and act on it by using the ghost, your notes, send it, log it, and then redo it again every week once. And I'm sure you all will be gainfully employed very soon. Energy
One other
smart
quick thing I
workflow.
wanted to mention right quick with the LinkedIn piece and stuff, connect with everybody,
Yes.
whether it's your plumber or it's a CIO, connect with everybody. So even if, let's say, you guys connect with me, the thing is because of how large my network is, getting introductions into people that you're trying to get a job with. That's how it happens because you can then go in and say, oh, Jane's connected to this person that's connected to that person. And so, if you're back from the 90s like I am, people say 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? So
Yeah.
the thing is how many degrees are you away from this person? And so with that in mind, if you've got a first connection in with them, get that person to introduce you.
Yeah.
And that only happens if you connect with everybody. If you're like just hold out, this isn't like Facebook or something. LinkedIn, you want to be connected with as many people as possible. This is your professional, social media. So
So here is somebody, I'll just show you my LinkedIn. I connect with everybody and anybody in terms of, right? So my number of people, I do not know, they keep changing. I have about 15,000 people who are connected to
it
me.
says it on your page itself. If you go to your page, it says
Right?
how many people are following you. hmm Yep, you've got 17,000.
17,000 followers,
Yep.
and I have about 14,000 connections, right? And and I'm very active on LinkedIn every day. I just go there, I do what I need to do, post, repost, like, do at least 2 or 3 times. I'm already there, so um, right. So that's basically what it is. Energy smart workflow. On your good energy days, batch it, do the deep dive, 5 people, draft all 5 messages, save them as templates, and then you can send it to them. On low energy days, send one pre-drafted note, accept one connection, leave one real comment, and you're done. So you can bifurcate your good energy days versus low energy time, and then touch the one touch rule, never open a message twice, draft it, ghost, and send it. Right. So I'm just giving you some tricks of the trade. Do this after today, a 7-day low spoon plans. Brand sentence card 6, it takes you about 10 minutes. Day 2, you can do headline about, you don't need to do all of it on day. And then day 3, you can do the blind spot your profile. So that's card number 8. You can do deep dive, connect with one person, cards 9 and 10. Build your one page at card 12. Send 3 genuine notes, card 11. And then rest or set up your weekly ODDA plan that you can do. And that's where AI can help you. And that's what we have for today. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. Like last time, I'm still working with Emily with her resume and things like that. I understand you might have to reschedule it. I'm not bothered by your rescheduling it. I understand life happens. You might something comes up, and I'm flexible to do whenever you are available. I can meet you with you at that time. So that's basically what we have for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Alejandro, you've been quiet. Um,
No, I've been like working and doing actually some of my networking with some emails. It was great, and just listening to both of your conversations. I mean, both of you are really experienced. You hit it on the head. I myself, like I said, too, it just I have been successful in my career because the fact that I did network. I
yeah,
mean,
Yep.
all of the jobs that I have gotten has all been because I networked, including this one. You know,
Yeah.
it is.
Exactly.
It's me.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
the big thing is having that network. And, Alejandro, this might be a good time to announce, but just so everyone knows, we're going to be coming out with at least quarterly, if not monthly, empowered entrepreneurs, where it'll be myself and probably Sam and some other people, where we're going to have interviews with entrepreneurs of successful companies. but also helping people understand with their current, you know, job that they have or their current company that they want to create. How does that work? What are some of the nuances? Because both Sam and I, we have worked with a lot of tech startups, a lot of companies starting from the ground up. How do you go to market? How do you bring in more business to yourself? Because that's one thing, you know, I've been very blessed with in my life. I'm very good at figuring out ways, one, to get money, and two, to be able to tell people how to do it themselves.
Yeah.
So the big piece is, you know, how can we help our community be even more successful? And I think with this, you know, one of the other ways is we're going to start looking at doing some book club books. With the first one is one of my favorites. It's by Rachel Rogers, and it's called We Should All Be Millionaires. And I have to agree with that thought process because, you know, it's not that we're after money, but when you have money, you can do more things, not only for yourself, but for other people. And so being able to help change some of our mindsets and help empower us because we can all create our purpose in life to be in such a manner that it fulfills us. And
And Jane, I want to interject there.
yeah,
And it is funny that you mentioned that book. I only read that book 4 months ago. And you know me for a long period of time. And that was one of the books that changed my thought process and said, you know what? I always had a very bad relationship with money. I thought money was bad. If you have money, people are going to. So I always try to help people. But what you just said is so profound, right? If you have more money, you can do more for a lot more people. Right?
exactly.
That one thought process from that one book that you read, and
Mhm.
somewhere it clicks, and that shift happens automatically. If that,
Exactly. And the thing is being able to talk about it because the problem is a lot of people feel like, oh, if you've got money, that makes you a bad person. And no, it doesn't. And so being able to help people. And so, Sam, I'd love for you to be a part of that in the book club. So I'm thinking
absolutely,
about
I will.
taking that $1 million action plan workbook she created and having that be our first thing set up because you know, you know, with this, you know, I've been through Tony Robbins, I've been a platinum partner and like, you know, the different pieces. And the biggest thing is changing that perception. And, you know, it's a shift, it's a paradigm shift. But like Tony Robbins always says, you know, trade your expectations for appreciation and your whole world changes. So appreciate all your failures. You know,
Yes.
with Alan going viral recently, which is, you know, I didn't not expect it, but at the same time, it's one of those things that it's like, you know, I was a little scared about it because I was like, you're going to get a lot of haters too and like all this other stuff, but honestly, he's blossoming and everything's it's fine. But, you know, that's where that weird perception comes in. I'm all about people making money and doing all this stuff, but then when it came to social media these days, I kind of shut down because I'm like, I don't want too much information getting out about how wonderful of a person he is because, you know, then he's no longer mine. But you know, when you've got to share your significant other with so many people, it's kind of like, okay, how do I keep you from getting hurt, but also how do I keep myself from not losing you with this? And so I just read that book actually just recently. Like, I do a lot of audiobooks. So, I just listened to it and I was just taken aback because I love the way she puts it. And she sounds a lot like me when she's talking. And so I'm like, this is an amazing book. So
I
getting
read
that
the book,
Audible book,
you did the audio. So
yeah, for sure.
great. And anytime you know me, anything you do, I'll be there.
Definitely.
I'm already looking forward to Denver next year.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
same
that's going to
here.
be very exciting.
So
Yeah, same here. I'm really excited about that. Yeah, you know, Baltimore was a lot of fun, and you know,
you have 1 year to clean up your basement or wherever you're going to put us. And
Yeah.
I'm already in the process of like reorganizing
Yes.
it all. So that was actually one of the things I was joking about with one of the people I've networked with. I was just telling them how like I had to go down there and find an old file, and then it reminded me of my father-in-law. I remember just seeing these file cabinets of all of his old banking documents to current,
Yeah.
all the way dating back to like the early 60s.
Wow.
You
I can
know,
only imagine because that had to be printed on a green screen, like
you had the carbon.
AS400
Remember,
and a
remember the
dot matrix
carbon?
printer.
Remember the carbon
Yeah.
documents? You know,
Yes,
he
yes.
had, I mean, I remember when I looked into
It
there was
was
all these
written
old
out. Yeah.
carbon. Yeah, it was
I love it. I love it.
hilarious. But again, it goes back to that, right? Just
Yeah.
it's kind of like when listening to your conversation about just how you interact, with the people you network with, and it is it's having those genuine, even funny, just exchanges. Right. It's those kinds of things because that's the kind of stuff that people remember you by.
And Alejandro, the word that you just used, genuine, be authentic yourself.
Yep.
And that takes you a long way, right?
Yep.
And try to be that authentic person rather than just being that superficial, trying to fit in
Right.
person. That
Exactly. What I like to say, it's don't focus being in the spotlight, but shine your light. That's
yeah,
what you want to be doing.
yeah,
That's exactly right. And that's what PWN for PWN is all about is how can we empower people to be successful? And that's one job thing that everyone needs to learn is if your boss isn't setting you up for success, you really shouldn't be in that job.
yeah,
Yep. Very true. And hey, and we've all been there. I've been there where I'm like, wait, I'm not being set up for success. You're just using me for my amazing work. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're using me for. I'm actually making you look good and you're getting the promotions and I'm not.
exactly.
Right? I mean, it's those, you know your worth, because
Know
it
your worth is exactly
is.
right.
Exactly. There's no shame in that whatsoever. That knowing your worth is self-care. No shame in
Exactly. I'll
that at
give you
all.
one example of knowing your worth, and then I've got to hop because I've got a 3 o'clock call.
you
But
and I have to talk, but yeah,
it basically what it was is I was 12 years old and my dad was a painter carpenter. And so I was helping him with his side jobs and stuff, whether it be taking down wallpaper, painting, scraping paint off, whatever it might be. And I remember we were sitting in the living room. And like I said, I grew up very poor. So it was like a single wide trailer. And I just remember sitting there with my mom and dad. And my dad was bragging about me like he always does. And he's like, because she's not like the other painters and stuff. She doesn't drink. She doesn't smoke. She's always doing a good job. And I looked at my dad and I said, well, if I do such a good job, why don't I get paid the same amount that you pay them? And my mom looked over at me and she goes, and then she looks at my dad and she goes, Jane's absolutely right.
Yep.
And I went from being paid $5 an hour to 12. So, the thing is no matter what you're doing, if you know how much you're worth, you just go from up from there.
Yep. It's awesome. All right. Well, hey, this was a great, great AI workshop. Can't wait to get this published. It's going to be awesome. So, but thank you, Jane, for joining us.
thank
Sam,
you.
as always, it's always
Yeah.
amazing to have you. And again, thank you for all the people you've been helping along the way.
Thank you.
You
Appreciate
know
it.
what I mean? I mean, seriously, you've been doing wonders for so many people in our community. And again, it's the fact that you just do it with such a kind heart. And
Thank
again, right, you two are a very authentic person. And like I tell people, you don't get that from many recruiters in this industry.
Right.
A lot of it is, not authentic, right? It's getting the numbers. Sam's not about that. He's about genuinely helping you succeed. So,
yeah. Thank you.
anyways, thank you so much, the two of you. This was awesome.
Thank
And yeah, till next one.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye
Thank
Thank
bye.
you.
you, Jane. Jane, I'll call you sometime this week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.